You might have heard of the Artemis II mission, but what exactly is it? I explored NASA's official pages and documents, crafted notes, and even drew models and blueprints to create an animation that explains everything you need to know, plus an interactive quiz at the end. Four astronauts took a trip to the moon to study it and returned, but how exactly did they get there? On April 1st, 2026, the four astronauts strapped in ready for launch. This is the SLS rocket. It weighs 2.6 million kilograms or 5 million pounds and generates 4 million kilograms of thrust from the two solid rocket boosters and the RS-25 engines. At about 45 kilometers, we have the separation of the solid rocket boosters. At about 87 kilometers, we have the separation of the launch abort system. At about 156 kilometers, we have the separation of the core stage, and eventually the separation of the ICPS. This is the Orion spacecraft and its components. The launch abort system will carry the crew to safety in the event of an emergency during launch. But remember, it got separated at about 87 kilometers above Earth. And this is what remains of the Orion spacecraft that makes it to the moon and back. This part is called the service module. It is the powerhouse that provides power, water, oxygen, and thrust. The crew module adapter connects the service module to the crew module. Then lastly, the crew module, which is a capsule where the crew live and work. They traveled over 694,481 miles to the moon and back. On the return, the service module separates from the crew module, leaving Orion to make its journey back to Earth. As it re-enters the atmosphere, it reaches speeds of nearly 25,000 miles per hour. At these extreme velocities, the air around the capsule compresses and heats up, forming a glowing plasma sheet that surrounds the spacecraft, temporarily cutting off communication with Earth for about 6 minutes. As Orion descends further, a carefully timed parachute sequence begins, guiding the crew module to a safe splashdown in the Pacific Ocean. Now, there was an Artemis I mission, which was the same trip without a crew, just machines. But with Artemis II, the first crewed Artemis flight marks a key step toward long-term return to the moon and future missions to Mars for humankind. Its success paves way for Artemis III, which will be launched next year in 2027. Try out a fun animated quiz to test your knowledge of Artemis II using the link shared with this video, or visit stepquiz.space.